about IdeaSpace. So we have, he is an associate director for ventures of IdeaSpace. So we have Mr. Dustin Masancay.
Sige, I'll just keep it short. By raising your hands, who knows or who already have heard about IdeaSpace? Meron na ba nakarinig ng IdeaSpace? Parang wala pa. Okay, that's good. Okay. Medyo nafe-feel ko yung energy natin parang bumababa. So, I'd like to ask you to look to your left side and look at the person beside you and smile. Sige, just smile and say siguro hi. And then turn to your right and say hi as well to the person beside you, to your right. Yes, naman. Okay. So what I'll be talking about today is IdeaSpace and how we're creating this startup culture in the Philippines. And more than just creating a business, what we're trying to achieve in IdeaSpace is to create the culture of nation building by providing each and everyone the opportunity to create significance in their lives through building startups and promoting innovation in the country. So just before I begin, I'd like to provide a context, perhaps what the role of innovation is in developing the economy or in economic development in general. There's a theory in economics which states that innovation has a multiplier effect in terms of the economic growth of the country. So that means innovation can actually increase the productivity of your labor, of your machinery, and that increases the overall productivity of a country. So as I'll be showing later, that's actually the result, or that's the expected output that we'll be getting if we pursue or we promote technopreneurship in the Philippines. So next slide. Why is technopreneurship important in the Philippines or in any country for general? Well, we think that it is important because, next slide. For example, in the US, alam niyo na siguro to, yung Silicon Valley. It is a place where all of the largest technology companies in the world are being housed. You have here Apple, you have here Google, and even HP. So this is the hub of technopreneurship, and this area, which is actually as big as Metro Manila, is creating so much value not only for US but also for the rest of the world. Next slide. If we are going to stack rank the revenues that are being created in Silicon Valley by these 6 companies like Apple, HP, Cisco, Intel, Google, and Oracle, their level of revenue far exceeds the level of productivity or GDP of the entire economy of the Philippines. So that means that region, that place that is as big as Metro Manila in the States is producing way beyond what a country like the Philippines is generating. And that is because of technopreneurship. That is because they have technology people, technology startups who are creating value for the economy of the United States. And hopefully, you will become the success story of the Philippines in terms of creating value, in terms of creating solutions that will change and that will provide solutions to the problems of this country. So why Silicon Valley? In Silicon Valley, there is this openness, there is this collaborative environment where people can just freely talk about their ideas, they can freely share their thoughts about something. Wala yung dito sa Pilipinas na tipong ayokong i-share yung idea ko kasi kokopyahin mo yung idea ko. And then, sa Silicon Valley, yung mga tao, they're excited to do things. They're very open to, kasi dito, di ba, ano yung mga hurdles natin pag nag-share tayo ng ideas natin? Feeling natin hindi natin kaya. Feeling natin, mahirap yan. We are self-regulating ourselves. But doon, meron silang can-do attitude. And that's also what we're trying to bring in here in the country. That culture of collaboration, that culture of information sharing. And probably because if we can connect people together, we hope that we can create more solutions for this country. In Silicon Valley, we expect the universities, the investors, mga law firms to be working together. Unlike here, medyo separate tayo. So that's also one of the core or the thrust of IdeaSpace is to how to bring that culture of working together in the country. So the challenge posted to us by Mr. Pangilinan, who's the chairman of IdeaSpace, Mr. Manny Pangilinan, is can we bring that culture? Can we jumpstart that Silicon Valley culture in the Philippines? And fortunately, we have the founders of IdeaSpace, Earl Valencia and Martin Cuban, saying, yes, we can do that. Just give us 1 billion pesos worth of funding. But sabi ni MVP, I'm not going to give you 1 billion peso worth of funding. I'm just going to give you 500 million and that 500 million will be spread over 5 years to support startups in the country. That's why, next. That's why in IdeaSpace we have a national competition. It's a startup challenge actually. That we're looking for the best technology and science-based ideas which we are going to fund. These ideas must be along the lines of helping the healthcare, energy, and other development sectors. So that's one of the core things that we're doing in IdeaSpace. We run a national competition every September and it ends in January. So IdeaSpace is backed by the conglomerate of Mr. Pangilinan. We are supported by SMART, PLDT, Sun. So the value that we provide to the startups that win our startup challenge is that we give them these companies as potential clients, as potential laboratories for their products. Suppose you have an idea of coming up with a clean technology solution. We could probably link you up to Meralco or siguro Smart for advertising, whatever. So that's one of the values that we provide as IdeaSpace. We are a business incubator. So if you get into our program as one of the winners of our startup challenge, we're going to give you 6 months worth of incubation. And that incubation includes seed funding amounting to 500,000 pesos. And then a potential for a follow-up round of 5 million pesos. And also, market branding support. That's actually the most important thing because for you to build a business, you have to have strong connections. And fortunately, we're proud to say that in terms of connection, IdeaSpace has this under our portfolio of connections. Just to share with you some of the winners of last year's competition, we have a queuing system that allows you to receive text messages before you, so that you can go out of your queue and then go somewhere else. So imagine yourself, kung nagbabayad kayo sa isang payment center, tapos ang tagal-tagal yung nag-aantay doon. Diba? Wouldn't you want that capability to just go there at a payment center once it is already your turn? diba, you would want that. So we supported one startup. It's called Time Free, and currently their first client actually is Smart, and then we are trying to build their business as well around the payment centers of Meralco, Manila. So you see the point. We can bring that connections to you. So there's a merit of saying to an investor, siguro na I've tested my idea not to just 100 people or 100 neighbors. I've tested my ideas to the 50 million subscribers of Smart. I've tested my idea to the 2 or 3 million subscribers of Meralco. There's merit to that, and it increases your value as a company. Next. Just to give you an idea about the startup ecosystem in the Philippines. Sige lang. Actually, IdeaSpace enters on the idea to product stage. You just have to have an idea, and then we're going to help you out turn that idea into a strong business. There are other players in the startup ecosystem in terms of giving funding. There is the Philippine Angel Group Hack to Hatch, Launch Garage, sponsored by Globe, but they come at a later stage. That means that most probably you already have a prototype, or you have a clear market traction, or you have customers already before they invest. So kami, mas earlier stage kami. So we cater more to hopefully turning, diba, your students, hopefully turning your thesis projects into not just science projects or IT projects as a requirement in your schools. We're encouraging you, if you have technology projects, to turn those projects into real businesses. But again, having a startup is not for all. So maybe you don't want to do the business side, you want to just be the CTO or the Chief Technology Officer, you still can do that. Because in our competition, in our startup challenge, what we need is a team. So you can probably link with a person who's good in business. It doesn't have to be a team of only developers. So pwede kayong mag-partner with a marketing student so that you can really build a business. At the end of the day, we're looking for a strong team that who can hustle their way through to get their first customers, to get their investors, apart from IdeaSpace. So, the Philippines on the startup map. I'd just like to remind everyone that, diba, we are the fastest growing economy in Asia. We've had that strong growth rate for the first quarter of the year. And actually, there are a lot of investors now going to the Philippines because they see a lot of potential in the startups that we have in the country. As a matter of fact, currently I am the Manila Director of Startup Grind, which is a community of startups that started in Silicon Valley. And when I was being interviewed for the directorship, the founder of Startup Grind told me that the other directors from China, from Vietnam, from Australia and US are very excited about what's happening in the Philippines. There is for them, parang walang visibility pa sa kanila kung ano yung nangyayari sa Pilipinas. That's why it's, for them, they heard a lot of good things about the Philippines, and the challenge is that we have to create those growth stories so that we can inspire more people, more startups from Silicon Valley, more investors to come here and develop their businesses here as well. And only there we can create, a stronger startup ecosystem. So I'm just going to wrap it up. Okay. Anyways, we are looking for 10 technology-based or science-based ideas. The startup challenge is going to start by September and will probably end by January of next year. So I'd just like to siguro inform you that maybe in a couple of weeks our website is there. So is already up, so you can probably tune in for more updates about IdeaSpace. And hopefully, you will join our startup challenge. That's it.
Okay, so thank you, Dustin, for that introduction to IdeaSpace. And hopefully, guys, yeah, really, it's very important that if you have any idea in your mind that, you know what, will really solve world's problem, you know, and even just Philippines' problem, it can really help us. It's really a great start for you. So kahit ano ka na, kahit bata ka pa lang, diba? So, anyways, now we'll be having our birds of a feather. No, birds of a feather.
Okay pa ba
Ay,
kayo?
may tanong pala kayo.
So, move on na tayo.
Ayun, may question muna pala.
Yes.
Yay. Dustin, may question. Ay!
Ano po yung sa may Silicon Valley, yung $500,000 po ba yun?
Unfortunately, it's in pesos. Okay. So for our startup challenge, we're looking to invest in 10 companies. Each of those 10 companies are going to receive 500,000 pesos to build their prototype, to create early customer traction, and really run a business. So we're going to provide them 6 months worth of incubation. So that also includes in-kind services, including incorporation. So, di ba sa Pilipinas, ang hirap mag-incorporate o gumawa ng kumpanya? So we're going to provide the lawyers to help you out with the paperwork. We're going to pay for government filing fees and even IP, intellectual property for your inventions or copyright siguro for your codes for developers. So those are the services. And for non-Metro Manila-based participants or winners, we also provided housing for them for 6 months. So, yun. Okay. The question was, do we also cater to game developers or yung mga games created by you guys? There is a potential for us also to invest in games. We are looking, because our criteria is one, market need. We have to, the idea must address a strong market need. It also has to have a good market potential. So in terms of revenues, there must be, we must see, di ba, parang early adoption at least to the product. Also a strong team. It's very crucial. We're not just looking at the idea. We're also looking at a strong team who are committed to hustle their way through and the technology behind. So in terms of synergy with the companies, if you have a game product, then your probable customer is going, or partner is going to be Smart, because we are also supported by Smart. As a matter of fact, I am an employee of Smart, so we're going to create partnership with Smart to help you with advertising or blasting, as they call it, your game. So, yes. In short, yes.
Let's give a hand for ano.
Alright, so thank you so much, Dustin. So now,